Hello Steemit. Hello Steemit, Crypto G here, just coming at you with another video tutorial. This time for an amazing piece of free software, online software called Vectr. As you can see here, you just go to vectr.com and you can either download or use the web app as you like. Make a profile, very simple process. Once you're in, you'll get this screen and you can hit a new file, and you'll be taken to a page such as this. So the first thing we're going to do, what I'm going to actually show you today is a Polaroid effect, a kind of Polaroid collage effect. And yeah, it's a nice effect. And let's start. So first of all, I'm going to upload an image. You can't see my folder. I'm going to bring in a picture of some stained wood that I've put an effect to. I'm going to take the mouse up to the top here to this point, hold down Shift and just scale that down to roughly the size of my window. Then I'm going to click rectangle here, hold down Shift again and make a square. Let's make it roughly yay big. I'm going to go over to color. It's not too far off the color I want, but it's more a kind of milky, kind of just off-white kind of color. Maybe a bit more closer to white. Yeah, let's have that. Then I'm going to zoom in by holding down Control and just zooming in on the wheel. You can do that with plus or minus. And we're going to add a shadow here, as you can see on the right. I'm going to give that an offset on both the X and Y axis of 2. I'm going to take the blur down to 0 and the spread down to 0 as well. Okay, and that's given us a little drop shadow, which I kind of like. Let's move that around to have a look at that properly. Yep. Okay, right, now I'm going to zoom back out. Let's place that over there. Now what we're going to do is, this was called real path. As you can see, all shapes are called paths in a vector language, but we're going to call this Polaroid 1. Okay, selected there. Now you'll see when you right click, you see a menu. It has copy and paste, but when you use it, it tells you that it's you must use the keyboard. So Control or Command C, depending if you're on Apple or Mac. Apple or PC, and then Control V or Command V again if you're on PC or Apple. So we're just gonna do these out here. Paste that. I think we're going to do 10 images altogether. Make a nice little collage. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. How many is that? That's 5, 4, 5, 9. Let's have one more. 10. Yeah, is that 10? Yes, it is. Okay, so now let's start to name our Polaroids. Let's find the second one in that list, and we're going to call that number 2. Oops. So yeah, you just again, some of these controls work a bit funny. You just double click on that, use your arrow key to get to the end, and then you can delete and put in what you want. Okay, so we're just going to go 4. I'm just going to rename these. It is important. It's a bit boring watching me do this, so I might just forward the video for you. Okay, so welcome back. What I did while you were away was I simply renamed all of these so that they were numbered, and I've placed them in a rough order, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10, just so that I have a handle on what they are called. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my first image. I'm just going to bring in this image of a dog here. Okay, here we go. So again, I'm going to zoom out so that I can see what I'm working with. Bring my mouse up to here, and keeping my finger on shift, I'm going to resize the image till it fits roughly, as the dog might say, into the Polaroid image. Okay, let's zoom in here, and we're going to come over to the right. Again, we're going to give it a border, but it's not going to be a purple border. It's going to be sort of charcoalish border. And going to take down the opacity. Oh no, you can't on the border, but oh yes, you can. Of course, you can. Take down the opacity to around sort of 42. 42. Let's zoom in and have a look at that. Click off of it. Yeah, that's about right. I like that. Okay, so now we've got an image, and we can call this image number 1. I should call this bottom image here table, because this is our first image, table. There we go. Image number 1 with Polaroid 1, which means we can now move them around together. Okay, so now we want to just click off of those, bring in another image. Should zoom out so we can see what we're doing. Again, I'm going to keep my finger on shift, and again down here, bring it in, and if it doesn't quite fit how I want, then I might not use shift, which, even if there is a sort of image like the dog here and you kind of warp it, it kind of looks nice. It kind of looks like maybe a Polaroid kind of would, so it gives it a bit of an extra dimension. Okay, so again, do this sort of charcoal grey border. Again, with the opacity at sort of around 40%. And go. Right, so what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to pause the video and let you guys join me back when I've put all of these images in. Okay. Okay, welcome back, Steamians and YouTubers. Excuse me. You've just come back as I'm just finishing off naming all my images, and also what I didn't tell you just before the pause there was to make sure you drag your images and keep them on top of the corresponding Polaroid. So obviously Polaroid 1 is the square we created. You want that with image 1, and so on. Polaroid 4 is with image 4. This way, the reason we do this is because obviously now we want to move them around. So, so I'll just click off there. If you just click onto one layer, so Polaroid 1 here, and I'm going to hold shift, click onto this, and now I can move these two around. I'm just going to zoom in a bit here. Computer's lagging a bit because of my screen recording software. As you can see, you've got various options there when you are when you're zoomed in. Sorry, when you have more than one layer selected, but we're not going to use any of those. We're just going to simply move them around. Let's move that to here. Let's have doggy here. Now we can take, say, image 2, Polaroid 2. I'm going to move that around here. So that's, yeah, it's underneath. Let's just move that to there. Yeah, and it's just quite a nice little effect there. Whoops. That's quite a nice little effect there that we've created. Okay, so once we've done that, obviously we want to keep the image and we want to export that. So if we were happy with that, we would come up to here, up to the top right, and we go export. And you can see what the page is, you can see what type of file you do it as here. I'm going to do mine as a PNG. You can do the height. Obviously that's the URL for the online file. And we just go download and simply download that to a folder of your choice on your computer. So I hope I've shown you some nice techniques there. You can go away and choose them, and obviously you don't have to use Polaroid. It's just quite a nice, easy way of framing and yeah, and making your posts look a lot nicer. I'm gonna let this wheel of death spin away. I'm sure once I've stopped my screen recording software, it's gonna whiz along. But for now, steam it. I'll say see you later, and yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And if you want to know more, let me know below. Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.